What is up, Frag fam? Corbin here again from Northwest Scent. So today we are going to be doing some first impressions, but before we get into that, let's rewind a little bit. So I was expecting a package from Zaharoff and I was expecting one fragrance in there. The package came in today and I wasn't going to open it. I was going to wait to open everything on camera just to keep it as legitimate as possible. But I noticed the box was a little bit heavier than I was expecting, especially for one fragrance. So I opened it up to see what was in there. And we have, as you can see right here, 3 fragrances. So I was not expecting that at all. So we're gonna be going over these fragrances, giving you guys my first impressions, and I will be revealing what fragrances these are after the intro. So let's roll it. Alright guys, welcome back from the intro, and like I said, we're going to be doing some first impressions on some Zaharoff fragrances, and also like I said, I was only expecting 1 bottle, but when I opened it up I had 3, so we're going to start with the one that I was expecting, which is right here. This is Brass and Soul, so this is Justin Copeland's fragrance from the ZedCreators collaboration with George Zaharoff, but the other 2, as you guys might expect now, are the other 2 ZedCreators fragrances. So I got the Siren, which is Curly Scents, Andrea, and then Ross's from TLTG Reviews. So I'm really excited to have all these. George, if you're watching this, I appreciate it a lot. And then of course to all the ZedCreators, Justin, Andrea, and Ross, I appreciate this guys a lot. I know you guys put a lot of hard work into this, so I'm really hyped to try these. I am gonna be honest though, so if I end up not liking these, or if there's something that I just find okay about it, I will definitely be honest. But again, I really am hoping to like these quite a bit. Just again, from the descriptions that I've heard, they do sound really nice. So I'm gonna unwrap these, get the cellophane off, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so I removed the cellophane and I actually did take the bottles out. Normally I would show you guys the boxes and the bottles and everything just to kind of give you an idea of the presentation, but I'm honestly pretty late to the party. Most people have gotten their bottles already and posted their videos and stuff to YouTube, so I'm sure you guys have been saturated with that. You've seen that already. I don't want to bore you guys with that again. So we're just gonna dive straight into the first impressions, and I think I'm gonna start with Brass and Soul just because this is the one that I was anticipating. Also, I do not know the notes off the top of my head. I think I looked into them a while ago and I remember this one having like lavender in it and like gin and some other stuff, but again, I do not know the entire note breakdown, so I am going into this pretty blind right now. Again, I'm really anticipating this one. This does sound intriguing from what I do remember when I did look into the notes and the descriptions. Okay, yeah, so there is definitely an aromatic touch to this. It is quite actually fresh. I think I saw somebody comment on Facebook that they were getting like jazz club vibes from this, and I'm not getting that at all. This does not smell like jazz club in the slightest to my nose. Very fresh, a little bit soapy. There is definitely kind of an aqueous nature to this in a way, kind of watery. There's definitely kind of a bite to this, almost like juniper berries, and I think, like I said, there was a gin note in here. So that would definitely make sense. It is quite cold smelling from the top, if that makes sense. Maybe it's coming from violet leaf or geranium or something along those lines, but it has this very cold nature to it, if that makes any sense. Very icy, and there is kind of a denser quality in the background, almost a little bit spicy, but just from the opening right here, this is quite fresh, and like I said, a little bit soapy, a little bit sharp, aromatic, watery, very, very pleasant, honestly. This seems extremely mass appealing, but not in a generic sense at all. This is quite, I would say, pretty unique for the most part. I'm getting a little bit of a scent memory or some kind of remembrance of something, but I'm terrible at recalling those on camera. I'm never able to for some reason, and that's the case right here. I cannot think of that, but it's very faint. Like I said, this does not smell like really anything else, but it's still very approachable at the same time. So very, like I said, again, I'm gonna reiterate this, aromatic, a little bit spicy, fresh, very cooling smelling, has a kind of this denser nature in the background, but it is still quite kind of aqueous and light at the same time. Really well done fragrance. I don't think that this tester strip is doing this thing justice at all, which in general, you know, that's really never the case with fragrances. You do have to wear them to get that full experience. The paper kind of tends to trap notes and make everything smell a little bit flatter. So of course I'm gonna have to try this on my skin. Here on camera though, on this tester strip, this smells really, really nice. Justin, great job. Okay, so we're gonna go on to the next fragrance, and I think I'm gonna do Ross's, which is Business Over Pleasure. Reason being is I've heard that the Siren right here is pretty dense, and at least for me, usually when I smell a really heavy, dense fragrance, it kind of just like overtakes my nose, and then it doesn't really work quite as well afterwards. So I wanna give this one the best shot possible and save the big heavy one for last. So that's my reason on going to this one next. Okay, and similar with Brass and Soul, I do not know the full note breakdown on this. I do remember there being iris in here just because Ross really likes iris, so that's what I remember. I don't really know any of the other notes. Basically, again, going into this completely blind. Oh wow, this is denser than I was expecting. Just looking at the blue bottle, and then, you know, I know that Ross likes his freshies. You know, that was kind of what I anticipated going into this. And I shouldn't do this. You know, you really shouldn't expect something to smell a certain way, because then when it doesn't, which is basically how it always, you know, that's what happens, it just throws you off. So I am definitely getting an iris in here. To me, it's not really going in one of the categories that you see iris traditionally go in. So, you know, it's usually either soapy or like powdery, or they're like kind of waxy as well. This kind of seems to be somewhere in the middle of that. I'm really not getting a waxiness. It is a little bit powdery, and there's kind of a soapy touch to it, but like I said, it almost seems to be somewhere in the middle. There is something very sweet to this, or I shouldn't say very sweet, but definitely a prominent sweetness in here. And like I said, it is a little bit powdery. Maybe it's coming from amber or tonkamine, or again, that powderiness could be coming from the iris, but there is definitely kind of a powdery nature to this. But again, sweet and soapy, kind of fresh as well, but not as fresh, like I said, as I was expecting. There might be a little bit of a citrusy touch here on the top, but that doesn't really seem to be a major player in this fragrance by any means. Overall, this is a lot denser than I was expecting. There is kind of a fuzziness going on here as well. I don't really know what to attribute that to, but kind of fuzzy in a way, kind of like what you get in a Chanel L'Or Homme Sport Eau Extreme, you know, or even like the regular Chanel L'Or Homme Sport. They have kind of that fuzzy background to them. And this does not smell anywhere near those fragrances, but it's kind of that same fuzziness, if that makes any sense. And there's a little bit of kind of a woody green side to this as well, like a little bit herbal in a sense. I don't really know what specifically to attribute that to either, but it is kind of there. This definitely seems like an iris forward fragrance. And honestly, like I said, it is a little bit fresh, but this is denser than I was expecting. And honestly, quite unique. Like, I really cannot think of anything that smells like this. So in summary, like fresh, kind of powdery, soapy iris, a little bit powdery, creamy, sweet. There's kind of a fuzziness and kind of like an herbal green woody side to this as well. It smells really, really nice, honestly. Again, Ross, props on this. This really does smell quite fantastic and unique as well. Okay, so we are moving on to the last fragrance now, which is of course this one right here, the Siren. Now this one, I don't remember all the notes, of course, just like the other two, but I do remember, I think there being leather and then chocolate in here as well. So that's what I'm gonna go off of. Again, completely blind. Hopefully I can figure some of this stuff out. Let's test it out and see. All right, here we go, guys. Oh, wow, holy cow. Woo! Yeah, this is intense. This is definitely the darkest, heaviest fragrance from the ZedCreator collection to my nose. So I'm definitely getting the leather here, and to me, I would say this is more of a rustic leather. I usually say rustic leather or a new car leather. That's kind of my two descriptors for the two different styles of leather. And of course there's more than that, but this definitely has more of this kind of like older, worn feel. So not like ultra new, super fresh leather, not like a suede note, more of like a true leather note. There is definitely a chocolatey touch here as well. Maybe there's a booziness I'm getting. It's not really sharp, but it feels like there's some kind of like sweet booziness in the background, which to me would imply like cognac maybe or something like that. Usually cognac does bring kind of a sweetness as well as a booziness to the fragrance. There is a, I want to say kind of a smoky quality to this as well. Maybe they're using incense in here or olibanum, but I'm definitely kind of getting like a touch like that. And there is also a spicy nature that's kind of offsetting that smokiness. Very kind of sweet, but dry at the same time. Spicy, smoky, again, very leathery. To my nose, leather is the most dominant note here. I'm definitely getting that chocolate that I remember from the note breakdown. And there's kind of this boozy quality as well. Now this one also is kind of peaking a scent memory, but I cannot recall what that is. And I can't think of anything specific that smells like this. This smells really, really nice though. I am a huge fan of this one as well. Definitely gonna be something more like oriented for the cold weather, of course. That's just, you know, this scent profile, heavy leathers with like chocolate and spices and like smoky touches as well. It's just something that's gonna work, of course, in the cold weather much better. It smells really fantastic though. Very good job, Andrea, as well. This one is awesome. Well, there you guys go. That was my first impressions of the ZedCreators fragrances, of course, from Zaharoff. Be sure to let me know if you guys picked these fragrances up or got samples or whatever, tried these out. Let me know down in the comments if you did and which ones you guys tried, and then your favorites as well, if you guys even have one. Again, I'm not able to say that at this time. I have to try them on my skin and get that full experience, but I am curious what you guys think of these if you have the opportunity to try them as well. Overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys did, I would really appreciate dropping a like just to show your support, and then that way more people can see my videos on YouTube. Additionally, if you want to write a comment, maybe just letting me know your thoughts, as well as some new video ideas or topics, that would be great too. And since you're down there doing all that stuff, if you've not already, if you could hit the subscribe button and then the bell notification, that would be amazing. That way you stay up to date on new videos whenever they get released going forward. But with all that out of the way, that's all I really have for you guys today. So I hope you have a good one. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and smell great.